All right, welcome back to another little lesson here. We're going to be talking about Facebook and Google and YouTube and all these platforms and how you can dominate on these platforms. We've made a bunch of discoveries. Like I personally used to think that these, pay-per-click media buyers were somehow special, that they were sitting on, some kind of super crazy knowledge that was only for the select few, etc., that they were doing crazy things behind the scenes. And then I just realized that it really just came down to having a really good offer and then just,
Mm,
being okay at putting out new ads and killing bad ones. So we want to talk about that a little bit. And one thing I wanted to point out is like it feels like this opportunity to capitalize on the increasing intelligence of social media ad networks is running out in the sense that they've been around now for a while, and a couple of years ago, I mean, I'm sure you have. I don't know about you yourself, Alan. Obviously, you've been doing it for a while, but I'm sure you have some cases of this, and probably a bunch of people who've done this where they were doing like affiliate campaigns and stuff on Google, where like you would literally just throw up some ads and start making money on day one, and you didn't have to change a
yeah.
thing for years, right? It would just keep running.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a lot of that.
yeah. So a lot of that is sort of, yeah, disappeared, and it's getting a little bit harder and harder, and you just have to do a better job. So that's kind of what we want to talk to you about today in this video. So yeah, let's talk about the rise of AI and ad networks. So Alan, a lot of
Yep.
people are Facebook ads experts somehow out of nowhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's a lot of experts. So it's interesting, right? Like, if you go to like AdTech is like the biggest conference where, all these like, technologies, tech companies exist. Like if you go to Affiliate World or, Affiliate Summit, any of these huge events where these guys gather, like everywhere you turn, there's all these like, damn, everybody's good at Facebook ads. Everybody's a Facebook, everybody's so good at it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? It's like that's kind of weird, right? It's like, how can everybody be so good at Facebook ads? And well, it's really not the case of them being good at Facebook ads. What happens is that Facebook is good at sorry, I'm just like clicking on my side as well just to make sure I have the notes here. So Facebook is extremely good at matching the offer with the right buyer. Like they have, like if you look at Facebook, I mean, they have like these data centers that cost a ton of money, and Google has them, and they all have them, right? And like they're just these racks and racks and racks of computers whose job is just to process and crunch data, right? So we went into our group, and so we posted this fancy question here, and like just like, hey, have you ever lost money on paid ads, including Facebook, Instagram, Google? And everybody said yes, except two people, and I'm pretty sure they never ran ads, right? So so anyway, so the thing about Facebook ads and Google ads or any of this stuff, the big secret is the big secret is that it's not about the ads at all. It's about the offer, right? Because the thing is, like the AI, right? So like years ago, like say 10 years ago, when you used to run ads on Google, it was like, you come in and you do your keyword bidding, and like their system would kind of match you. It was rudimentary, but it was pretty good, right? And there wasn't that many people. So what happened is like the whole world, thanks to mobile tech, right? The whole world came online. My TV has like a browser and a YouTube app, and like Netflix and everything on it, right? Like has a Facebook app. My what's that? iPad has it. My Amazon Fire has it. My iPhone have it. Like these things are everywhere, right? And so what happens is like people are connected to the world. There's a lot of people out there, right? So the advertising platform doesn't work unless there's AI in it. Like, so what do we mean by AI? AI means it's just like predictable pattern recognition technology, right? So, it's kind of funny, right? Because Google has a phone, right? And Google calls their phone the Pixel, which is ironic because you carry this thing in your pocket. And here's how deep it goes, right? Have you ever like there, you'll see people doing this. Like they'll like I was at this store like a while back, right? And I'm at this store and I'm looking at this jacket, right? And it's like some brand. I've never seen this brand. I've never searched for it, right? And I was with this girl, and I say I'm like, hey, do you know about this brand? And I spoke the brand. I can't remember what it was, right? And next thing you know, I'm like seeing ads for this brand all over Facebook, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like I've never searched for it, and this happens a lot, right? So Facebook and Google and all these guys, they track where you go. They track what store you go into. Like, so like, I just got back from the gym, right? And I had my phone on and I was listening to music. Well, guess what? Like Facebook, um, knows I was at the gym for an hour and a half, right? And the thing is, like, even if like I actually deleted Facebook off my phone, so even if you delete Facebook off your phone, I listen to Spotify for music. Spotify will go and sell my data to Facebook and Google, right? And it'll tell them that I was at the gym for how long, what music I was listening to, etc. Right? So it knows I'm at the gym, and now like I'm seeing ads everywhere for gym stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this happens everywhere. Like if I'm in my car and I go to a grocery store and I use Google Maps, it like knows I'm going to this grocery store, and like it depends, like is it like organic grocery store, what kind of grocery store is it, etc. If you're using like Google Pay, what videos you watch, it's crazy. Like they have so much data on everybody, and they crisscross. One more example, that's really crazy, right? Like let's say for example you shop on Amazon, so like I buy a ton of random shit on Amazon, right? um, Gmail will actually read your receipts of what you purchase. Like when you purchase something, like Amazon will be like, here's your things you purchased, here's what you got, right?
Yep.
So Gmail will actually scan that, read it, and then append it to your profile, right?
Yep.
And then it'll show you ads. So it's crazy. Like you don't have to be great at ads. You just have to be good at so there's two, like when it comes to running ads, there's two things. There's like creativity and there's a technical skill, right?
Yep.
Creativity is like knowing how to create ads, whatever. And that, don't worry about that, because what we do is like in Automatic Clients, we give you all our ads. So we have a ton of ads that we run and we just give them to you. So right now, actually 5 minutes before this call, Mike, who's in the real estate market with Automatic Clients, he just posted in our private Slack. He said, he spent $300 today, made $700, and without the $5,000 back end, right?
Yeah.
And so, and what did he do? We just gave him our ads, right?
Yeah.
And he just ran it. We're like, here's the ads, here's how you structure it, and he did a worksheet as well. He did a worksheet, and like he's crushing it, right? And he's like, what do I do now? Like I'm just like, listen, dude, just spend as much money as you can, and start selling the back end, right? Create your value bomb, sell the back end. So that's kind of the gist of it, right? It's like, so like if you go to all these groups, there's all these fucking guys who are like Facebook experts. Everybody's an expert. They're not. What these guys did is they know how to configure like campaigns, right?
Yeah, they
But
just give data to these networks, right? That's all they're doing. It's nothing fancy.
Right, but the reality is like nobody really knows how Facebook AI works or Google AI, because that's the nature of a true AI. You can't really know how it works because it changes, right? So there's like with AI, there's like initial parameters, right? Like you give them, like for example, if a bird is blue and has yellow and this, it must be this species, right? And then it goes and it'll change based on new input, right? And it'll come up with something else, right? So like it kind of it takes a life of its own, right? But it works very well. And the crazy thing is like it's very, very, very accurate. But here's the kicker, right? It only works if remember how we talked about the sales velocity and like getting feedback, right? It only works if there's actual activity on your ad. Like it only works if there's like somebody comments on your ad, somebody likes your ad, somebody
Or
shares
buys,
your ad.
like in our case, we get a lot of buyers, and that's so good. That's exactly what we want to do, right? And this was one of the reasons I remember, or probably the main reason why we used to sell the book for 37, and you were like, dude, let's test it for $5 and see what happens. And I was like, why? You're like, well, we're gonna have a lot more sales, so we're gonna give a lot more sales data, list of buyers, etc., to Facebook. And so they're going to get better and better and better at finding us more buyers. Because like Alan's been saying here, it's like, it's not about the ads, etc. It's about, number one, the offer. And then it's about the fact that Google and Facebook, etc., they have a profile of all of us. So, I've put it on the screen here. Google know, if you're logged in, they know every search you've ever done. They've read every single email you've ever received, ever
where
sent.
you go.
Yep. You've got the Google Maps app, right? So they are tracking your location. And there's a way to look this up, by the way. This screenshot on the left, this is them tracking your movement. And you can actually go and find this out. They also own YouTube. So everything you ever searched on YouTube, they got it.
Comment. Yeah. Every comment you made everywhere. And,
everything.
And they share data with and the other thing is like there's websites like, so all these, they have the company called Google Analytics, right? So it's like free tracking. So virtually every website, not every, but like most websites in the world have Google Analytics on it, right? And so even if you're not on Google, if you're out there browsing some other website, well, it's like Google is still, it reads what's on their website, the content, and then it like looks at the URL and it analyzes like what you're doing on a website, how much time you spend on a website, everything. I don't know if you know this, Robert, but like now what they're doing, they're mapping inside of malls and buildings, right? So like if you're in a building and you go in like they know what store you're in a mall and how much time you spend there. And then they develop these patterns like, if you shop at this store and that store, then what happens is like that they're showing you ads for that stuff, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm very familiar with this because so my dad, so IKEA had this thing, right, where they built these big stores and they would drive. So in the same way that a website will drive a lot of traffic on the internet, IKEA would drive a lot of traffic in real life. And so usually IKEA would build these stores right next to like massive shopping centers, and then they realized like, hey, we're driving all this traffic, and then we're just giving it away for free to these shopping malls. So IKEA started building their own shopping malls, and and they had these shopping malls set up in like Russia, Switzerland, and Denmark. And my dad came in as like the CTO to help them integrate all of their tech because of exactly what you're talking about. Like they were thinking about how can we have all this data and track all the people's movements and give them, a coupon code for the right thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all that stuff is very real and it's happening in like blitz speed. It's crazy what's happening with all that.
Yeah, and even though it's creepy, I think it's a good thing because, like, for me personally, like it helps me discover a lot of great products and things that I would never know about. So I actually enjoy it. I actually like it. Like, it saves me a lot of time from having to go out there and kind of figure things out, right?
For
So
sure. Yeah,
it's good.
I
Yeah,
don't mind it. And so yeah, I just put this here because it's like it's kind of creepy, but then it does kind of help you make your life easier. But Google has every email you've ever sent if you're using Gmail.
yeah.
So one cool thing, and as I was putting these slides together, I was Googling this, and it turns out, so if you think about it, right, they're all, Google, Facebook, et cetera, they're all building a profile on you. Now, did you know that you can actually go and find out your profile? So I'll put a link on this page so you can check it out for your own stuff. But I looked this up, right? Here's my profile. So according to Google, I'm a 25 to 35-year-old male. I'm not a parent. This one is the only one they got wrong. I'm married. I like golf. They know the size of my company, okay? They know that I'm into fitness, rap, and hip hop. I watch a lot of UFC stuff on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube, and I'm really into air travel, and I recently bought a cell phone. So you can see how like these are all this is my life right here. And they built up this profile of me, and now they're gonna be able to serve me different ads and find us different buyers, etc. So one thing, by the way, is like we talked before about how we have a 15% conversion rate on our sales page, which is like, it's awesome. And we would love to take credit for all of that. But one really good thing that you pointed out to me, Alan, is like, well, back in the day, yeah, clicks were cheaper, but conversion rates were way, way shittier because they didn't have this kind of technology to go out there and find buyers for you. So, now if you think about a 15% conversion rate, it's kind of crazy, right? It's like 1 out of 6 clicks turns into a buyer, but it's like, yes, and we've done a great job. Sure, we want to take some credit, but a lot of the credit goes to these really, really smart ad networks that are able to go out there and find other buyers for us. And so it's crazy.
So the way it does it, like go back. So the way it does it, like as far as buying other buyers. So let's say, for example, Robert, like you buy, like say something, right? Let's say you buy a phone. Like, so if that phone company wants to market to people, it'll look at your profile and then they'll have like a probability score saying like, find other people who match this and then who also bought XYZ. And it's gonna like, so out of all these like categories, like golf, fitness, combat sports, there's like layers and layers and layers and layers of data, right? So it's like which combat, which fitness, what type of golf, etc., right? So they have these models. So what happens is like it matches other people in the network who have a similar model, and so there's a probability of it that'll buy. So like Robert said, like 10 years ago, if you're running ads on Google, 1% was the standard. Man, if you get 1% conversion rate, you were good, right? And the conversion rates were the clicks were cheaper, but the conversion was lower. Now the traffic is more expensive, but conversions are way higher. So it's kind of like a moot point, right?
Yeah.
It's actually good. And that's one thing, like, if anybody's like, like as far as stock goes, like Google stock and revenue and Facebook revenue will always continue to go up because the more data they have, the better they get.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I'm personally sort of excited about is, you just saw this one, right? So Google owns Gmail and Google Maps and YouTube and Android. So that's a huge part of our daily lives. Now Facebook owns Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger has become really, really big, and they own Oculus. So it's like, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the next like 10 to 20 years with these companies because they're a little bit different as far as like their portfolio, right? And you can kind of see both of them continue to crush it. And with VR and stuff growing the way that it is, Oculus is going to be really exciting to watch too. But yeah, Facebook knows all of your Facebook Messenger conversations, your WhatsApp conversations, your Instagram conversations. They know where you log in from, etc. Facebook can access your webcam and your microphone. All the calls that you've been doing probably recorded, every like and comment you ever left. So, if you put all this together and you know that it's not being done by human beings, it's done by computers, right? It's not shocking to understand that they have a pretty damn good profile built up of you. And if you buy something, they're not, it's not too difficult for them to go out there and find other people that are similar to you. I'm sure they got a list of different markers, etc.
Right. So the big difference between the Facebook and the Google ad network is what I call the density of the network, right? So let me just see here. Okay, cool. So what I mean by density of the network is that Facebook Pixel is like it's easier to work with. Like, so if you go on Facebook and you toss up one of these offers, like the Pixel just gets it. Like it gets it, it works, right? It's easy to kind of and the reason it works is because Facebook has other engagements. So for example, like likes, comments, shares, right? You don't have to get buyers. You can get likes, comments, shares, and it'll work off that data, right? Now Google doesn't have likes, comments, and shares. They just have clicks and like how long you watch the video or whatnot, right? So Facebook Pixel is like really easy to work with in the sense of like, it's very engaging early on. Whereas the Google Pixel is actually better. It's way better. But it takes a lot more sales to get that Pixel seasoned. They call it seasoning, like to get all those data points. Once you get all the data points in Google, you can literally run offers for years. I mean, I have a friend, he's been running the same offer for 5 or 6 years now, like does like $2 to $3 million. He does like 6 million, I think. Yeah, 6 million a year. And he hasn't touched the ads. The same ads all the time, doesn't do anything, right? And like once you get Google Pixel working, you can just chill, right? But the Facebook one is it takes it's quicker. And that's the other thing. Like you don't really see too many Google experts out there. Well, you know why? Because Google Pixel takes a little more investment. So what we do is we focus on our strategy is to focus on Facebook first, right? Their network as a Pixel is easier to work with, get their revenue, and then take their profit and dump it into Google and kind of season that Pixel for the long run.
Yep, and WhatsApp ads are coming shortly too, so that should be fun. So here are some of the ads that we've actually been running, and we've tested a lot of different things. We found the ones that worked the really best. But what I really wanted to do here in this slide is kind of just to show you like what our ads look like, and the fact that a lot of them are sort of product based. I've always heard and stuff that you want to have ads that are like story based, etc. And if you look on the far right here, not the one all the way to the far right, but the one left to it, that was the first ad that I made for this offer. I made one ad, I chose one group to target, and I put it up, and it started working right off the bat. Funnily enough, some very known people in our industry copied this ad exactly. They chose the same background music and everything. But the funny part was like all these things that I've been hearing, they just came out to not be true. We went straight for the sale. We're like, here's the book, rather than like, oh, here's this story. We're just like, here's the book. Here's what's inside the book. Here's what you're gonna learn. It's $5. We even put the pricing in the ad sometimes, and we got a bunch of comments of people that were like, man, it's so refreshing to not see the free book offer or whatever. Just like, yeah, just put the price in there. Like, I don't mind. Like, people are really, one thing we want to continue to try to do is respect your intelligence. And we feel like a lot of people are not doing that. And so when people hear this free book offer and then it's like $48 for shipping, they're like, well, you could have just said it was a $48 book, but whatever.
Yeah.
But the big thing here is really on the bottom, where you see we spent $134,000 here. And the cool thing is the ROAS, the return on ad spend, is 1.04, meaning we got that money back. And this is only on the front end. So this is excluding the back end. We make all of our money back. We got, I guess, how many buyers do we have here to say? Yeah, 2,932 buyers from this campaign.
Yeah.
And we made all the money back. And then it's like,
and
it's off to the races.
And everything else in the back end was profit. Now I want to say one thing. Like, so the way we did these ads, like, to be honest, like we were just kind of like, let's see what works. And I wrote like 27 or 17 ads or something, like 17 to 27 ads. I wrote the ads and we threw them up, right? And what happened is like, Facebook, once like certain ads starts converting, it'll take off, right? And like what we started noticing is that the direct type of ads we run started working a lot better. But it's not simple. So like if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I'm going to go do direct ads and it's going to work. There's a lot of little nuances that, make it work. So for example, one of the nuances, like the ad right there, you see with Robert holding the book, it's right there. It's a third image from the right.
Mm-hmm.
So we ran that ad, and like he's flipping the book. Well, guess what? Like that ad, when we had like, I think like an 18-second video of him flipping through the book, didn't work, right? So we had to cut that video down to 3 seconds with the text. Then it started working, right? So just changing the duration of the video of just, what it is from 18 seconds to 3 seconds, that made it work. So people go in and like people, coming in, they're trying to copy ads. They're like 20-second ad, 30-second ads. And it's interesting because a lot of guys are now copying our ads now without knowing these little details, and they're not working. And they're like, well, shit, the ad doesn't work. How come it works for them, right? It must be something else. It's like, no, you're missing the little details that make it work, right? The little things that fuck you up, like devil's in the details. And so all these ads, there's little details that make them work. And that's one of the things in the automatic clients program that we do is we just give you all our ads and we say, hey, it's like, what do I do? And it's like, hey, here's all our fucking ads and here's how they work. Just model them. And then when we do a copy call on Fridays, meaning like, people take a slot and we sit there and help them with their copy. We break everything down. We look at the ads, we fix things up, and they're out there, they're working, they're kicking ass,
Yep. And the really cool thing here is like this is only scratching the surface, right? So you look at this campaign right here, we spent 134,000. We reach 1.3 million people with this. And if you just look at some basic targeting for this, there's 220 million people in this market. So this is literally just scratching the surface. This is just a very, very small segment of the market. And that's what's really exciting is that, you get all this data, right? You spend 134K, you make all the money back, and then you have a bunch of those people buying your back end. But now you've also fed to Facebook 2,932, data points of actual buyers that they can go out and try to find more people like that out of this 220 million audience.
Yeah. And the cool thing on this, go back on the campaign right there, you can see the per action, and we were making like $46.02 on the front end, the component funnel. So like we hit that on, I think it was like 9.6x or something like that. Like, so we were almost at 10x, right, on this funnel. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, who wants to see the one ad that Alan referenced before that generated $200,000? Well, we're not going to hear you.
Nobody wants to see it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody here.
Crickets. Fuck it. We'll show you anyway.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So here it is. Okay. This ad, probably our top one or top two ad. I can't remember exactly. But all it is, and if you remember the awareness spectrum thing that we talked about probably in was it last video or the last two videos? One of them.
One of them, yeah.
This is an ad that's appealing to people that are already sort of solution aware or product aware. Like they've already identified that they have a problem and they've already identified that they're willing to, or what the solution might be. And so when we do these super direct ads, like they just work, like people just go buy them. And if you see it's a long ad, but on the far right here, you can see that we actually do put the price right there in the ad, like I said. And all this ad does, again, if you look at it, super direct. We're just saying, hey, my name's Robert. I wrote this book. Here's what you're going to learn in it. Here's, what's not in it. And go check it out. It's $5.60. And it absolutely crushed.
So again, devil's in the details. So one of the things that makes this ad work is like I wrote this ad, right? And I wrote this ad, and like we have a ton of people in comments like, oh, this ad is, like when people say this ad is fucking long, nobody wants to read it. I'm like, tell it to the conversion data, right? People are like, oh, this. I'm like, tell it to the conversion data, right? Tell it to the numbers. I don't care. Tell it to the numbers. Numbers look good. I don't care, right? Because remember, it's like 5 + 5 is 10. Doesn't matter how we feel about it. It's always 10, right? So people's opinions don't count, numbers count. So I forgot how long. So like if you look here on this page, like I forgot how long the book was. Like I didn't know if it was 168 pages or 166 pages. So I just put both lines there, and it was like it's one of those, right? It was like 168, right? And like we just forgot about it. We left it. Like we left that thing, and then on the right hand side, you'll see it'll say like it's a $5 book. It's 30-day money back guarantee, and even if you don't like it, keep the book, keep everything. And we do that, right? So like with our stuff, it's like if somebody buys it and they want a refund, we give them the refund, then just keep the shit, whatever, right? But nobody wants a refund, right? Yeah. So one of the things is like like I wrote this like I don't know. We had to write a bunch of ads. So I wrote like 17, 27 ads. I just banged them out. And then there's like a lot of grammatical errors there. And like people will sit there and they'll sit there and be like grammar Nazis in the comments, and they'll be like, oh, you got this, there's grammar here, fix this, or the number, which is at 168, 166. And what we found, actually, again, devil's in the details, is that like when you make these little mistakes on purpose, it actually helps your ads a lot, because it triggers people out there, and like they like look at this thing and they're like, fuck, I gotta say something because it's bothering me. So they're thinking they're being smart asses, and they're sitting there and like trying to comment on your stuff, whatever. But what little do they know is they're helping us actually season the pixel for Facebook to engage, find more people. And and so like what we started with, so people will be like, oh, you have a typo, you have a spelling thing right there. And all we do is respond, thank you for helping us with engagement. That's all we'd like respond with. Thanks for helping us with engagement. Like it became a joke, right? And so, there's a lot of other, things that work in this ad, why they work, but that's some of the devils in the details, that make it work. So again, like people, there's very famous gurus out there who copied a lot of our ads, like verbatim, but they missed the point. They don't know what they're copying. They copied the surface level stuff. And like, if I didn't tell you these things, you would never know, right? You would sit there and be like, okay, I got to make this grammatically perfect. I got to do this. I got to check the spelling. I got to make sure everything is nice and proper. And the other thing, for example, like you see that book on the right, that's a black background. If you have this ad with any other background color, it doesn't work. You have to have a black background on the book.
We tested. Yeah.
We tested it, and so like, unless I tell you put a black background, what a lot of people in automatic clients come in when we give them the ads, they'll go and put it and it's like a white background. I'm like, no, put the black background. And the reason it's a black background is like when you're scrolling on the feed on Facebook, it pops. Like it pops. If it's a white background, it just gets melded in there, right? So that's another detail. So there's a ton more detail here, but we'll talk about that later. I don't want to drag this out. So what's the next slide?
Yeah, well, that's really it. But the main point here is like, I don't know if you, the viewer, have felt the same way that I did, but I definitely used to feel that, all right, I hear all these people that are Facebook ads expert. I didn't really question it,
scary,
to be honest.
It's intimidating, right?
Yeah, it is, because you think that they have this exotic knowledge, right? You think that there's so many people out there that can do this. And then it turns out, especially nowadays where these networks are so damn smart, all you have to do, and we've talked about this, you and I, Alan, it's like dumber people are sometimes better at running ads because they don't try to like figure out the algo. They don't try to like hack things. All they do is they take their product, they come up with like 30 different ads, they run them, they test them, they let the math speak for itself, and then they just kill losers. They don't try to do these crazy advanced, algorithm hacks.
So we know this because we actually hired a few people to run our ads, because we were like, hey, these guys are experts, so they must be good at this stuff, right? And so we hired them, we paid them, and it was like they were just doing some weird shit, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, because there's a specific strategy that we do. Let me see what the next video is. I might just talk about it here for a little bit. Like
3 levels of customers.
No, the scaling strategy. Next video is 3 levels.
Yep.
Let me see one second. Hang on, guys, because this is the golden nugget I'm going to give you. I guess we don't have it, so I'll talk about it. So anyway, so we hired these guys, right? And then it's like they're just kind of like duplicating, fucking around. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't make any sense, right? And so like what we started doing was like, we just opened like another account, and we were like, let's just try to run our ads and let's see if we can actually be these experts that we're paying, right? And we started kicking the shit out of them. Like we kicked their ass. So we're like, and so we go to them and like, why are we paying you if our ads in-house are better, right? There are all sorts of excuses. Oh, this and this and this and this and this and this, right? Here's the reality, right? When you have somebody out there that's good at quote unquote Facebook ads, right? What they're really good at is they're running Facebook ads for somebody that has a great offer that works, right? And then they're taking the credit. It's like the sleight of hand, like, way of selling. Like, the offer works, and therefore I'm going to take credit for the offer, even though I had nothing to do with it, and therefore I'm an expert, right? That's what's going on. So anyway, so what was the point? Okay, so we hired a guy. We did better. Oh yeah. Okay. So there's this whole like thing, like, like if you go to any of these, like, Facebook, what do you call it? Like Facebook groups, right? Like if you ever run ads on Facebook, there's like 300 different strategies, right? It's like fucking like worse than like investing in Bitcoin, right? It's like all these strategies, right? Like do this and do that. Like, like all these like mysterious, exotic strategies, right? And for me, it's very intuitive to run ads, right? Like when you look at something, and if you're smart enough, and if you're watching this video, you're smart enough, right? You watch it, and like, does this make sense? Doesn't it make sense? So what we found was like, we have two type of campaigns, right? We have what's called a targeting campaign, right? So we have a campaign that's like aimed at a market, right? So in this case, for 2 Hour Agency, it's aimed at like agency owners, people who are like web designers, freelancers, whatever, right? And then we have another campaign which is called a global campaign, right? So what we do is we allow people we target people in the targeting campaign until we get X amount of engagements, like 20 sales or higher, like 20 to 100 sales, right? Which is really easy to get. So we get 20 to 100 sales in that pixel, right? And then we get a whole bunch of engagement, right? And then what we do is we use the post ID in the account, and we just move that same ad to global, right? And we literally say, keep running this ad here where it's specific to the marketplace, right? Like targeted. And then we move it globally. And what happens when you run globally, you just point at countries. You like just run this ad to the entire United States.
Yeah, just no targeting, just country.
Right. And so so all these fucking Facebook experts, right? Everybody we talked to was like, you got to segment, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I'm thinking like, look, it's like we're selling a digital product. It's like somebody doesn't have to go physically walk across a border or a country and buy this thing, right? It's like, so if one of our customers, like in the United States, has this profile, like, Robert's profile in that ad, right? And then we have a customer in Australia who matches that profile. Why are we not running these in the same campaign, right? Because like we got to let that, like every time you segment, like, you say, only run this in the United States, only run this in Australia, only run this here. You're segmenting it so much that like you're blocking the pixels AI from making decisions globally, right? And so what we do is we just literally have what's called tier 1, which is like Canada, United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand, I think South Africa, right? Tier 1 countries. And I think so tier 1 English speaking, right? So we run that. So all those countries, and what we do, we just move that campaign up there and we just let it run. We don't do anything. The damn thing just runs, right? And so what happens is like it runs, but then we have tier 2, which is like Dubai, Qatar, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, North Korea. Running ads in North Korea, right? No, North Korea. Like, might like have to do like an airplane and get shut down. But so we're like these. We run these tier 2 countries, right? And they work extremely well. Like Singapore is a great market for us. Like the Middle East is a great market for us because there's a lot of income there, right? Hong Kong, like we had one guy from Japan buy, that was cool. Yeah, and that's it. That's the entire strategy. Just like the economics of the offer, they make it work. Direct ads, like we talked about, and then you have this like direct targeting, and then you have the global targeting once you get the season pixel. And then when you move from in direct targeting, you stay in like 50 to 100 sales a day, right? And then when you move to global, you go to 300 and up. Like you that's when you pump the budget, right? And that's where Robert gets really nervous because like whenever we get to that budget, I'm just like, double the budget. I just want to double the budget every single day. I just want to like burn the account. And so
suck at all the buyers.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like once we do this, and that's the real problem we have. We thought we were like, because what'll happen is like your ads will bonk, right? Like they'll stop working, right? And like what we found was like ads stop working. And so like, damn, what the fuck are we doing wrong, right? And like really what's happening is we're just sucking out all the buyers out of the market. And you gotta let the market kind of like refresh because like people go in heat. So for example, if I'm hungry right now, I'm gonna eat, right? And after I eat, I'm not hungry, right? I don't think about restaurants or food or whatever, right? Same thing with people. It's like if people are in this buying mood, they're gonna buy something, right? And then they're gone. And then tomorrow somebody else gets in a buying mood. Well, guess what? Like Facebook and Google and those guys, they know who's in a buying mood. How do they know you're in a buying mood? Because like, did you know this? I don't know if you know this, Robert, but like if you go to like a Shopify store or like any other store and like you click add to cart, right? Mm-hmm. And even if you don't buy, they know you're in a buying mood, right? That's how they identify pre-buyers. So like for example, like I'm buying, I'm actually right now like looking into buying a gym. Like it's crazy, right? Like not like a little gym. I'm talking about like industrial grade, 5,000 square foot warehouse gym for me. And then I want to have an office there so I can just walk over and work out, right? So I'm on all these like fitness sites, like Rogue Fitness and stuff. And I'm clicking add to cart. And so like I have my cart full of like stuff. The damn thing knows that I'm a potential buyer, like I'm buyer in heat, right? And then it starts showing more and more and more and more ads, and that's how it knows, right? So it goes way deeper than that, but it's pretty crazy. So that's it for this video. And again, like, so just want to clarify one thing, like that, in the program, the Automatic Clients program, it's like we give you all our ads, we give you all our targeting, we work with you. Like, I know this is a little ambiguous. Honestly, like if you were to go into the details, this video would be like 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
So we have a worksheet for that. Like, can you open the worksheet and just show them? Like, I think
I don't know
it's
if
the
it's
ad.
ready yet.
It is ready. It's pretty good. So we're gonna look at the worksheet. And so like we give you this worksheet like for ads, and like this worksheet here like structures all the ads and how you target, and then like it's very easy. You just fill it out and then you just model it
I
and you're
don't
good to
have
go.
this ready to go. I think, I don't know where it is, etc. We'll save that for
Okay, that's fine.
another
But anyway, we give you the worksheet and you're good to go. So let's do the next video, which is 3 levels of customers and why that's really important. And a lot of people actually miss this next piece when it comes to the 3 levels of customers. Like once you get this, it's gonna be like, holy shit, that was the missing piece of the puzzle for me. So talk soon.
See ya.